it's Gossip Girl. Like, it's Clueless. Like, it literally is Clueless. It's the OC. High society drama and will they, won't they, and kind of young adults mixing and matching and getting into shit. That's what it is. Like, Emma could be Marissa Cooper, but she's likable. Like, she is Serena Vanderwoodson, but less likable. Hey everybody, my name is Rick, and today I'm going to be doing a review for the next book in my top 125 books of all time series. By the way, if you don't know what that is, I'll leave a link to that video below. If you don't know what Emma's about and you're curious, I'm sure you could just say it into Siri and she could respond with a pretty good synopsis. It's that kind of ubiquitous with culture at this point. I don't think the book is quite as deep as I think some people might want it to be. I don't want to offend anybody by saying that, because people just love this book, but it's a romance book. Just listen to the way that people talk about Mr. Knightley. It's like they're 14-year-olds and they're just like seeing this like God man for the first time, and he's just like this epitome of what a man is supposed to be. Like, this book is a romance, so I'm sorry if I look at it that way, and it's not like the deepest of deep literature. I'm talking about this book on the top 125 books of all time, but it's mostly for Jane Austen's place in society and how she basically invented the romantic comedy with this book. It's not because it's the deepest shit you'll ever read. It's not. It's good, but it's, you know, it's on the surface, and that's fine. And that's part of the genius of it. Yeah, you could rewrite this story every couple of years and kind of put a different slant on it. Like, that's why we have Clueless. They remade this pretty much note for note, and it just felt extremely contemporary, and it is the exact same story. Like, obviously there's some stuff that's changed, but like the frame of it is very, very similar, and it's almost 200 years later. So it's extremely timeless, and that's a quality that owes itself to somewhat the simplicity of it, but also just the genius of it. That any work that you can do that to is smarter than you think it is. As for the character of Emma, I'm really glad like where it ends up, because for the first like 50 pages, 100 pages of this book, I was like, oh my god, this woman is infuriating. Like, she's just, I hate when authors do that thing where their main character is extremely smart and extremely pretty, and she's extremely wealthy, and she's so charming, and everyone loves her, and she's everyone's best friend, and it's just like, oh my god, that's so boring. Like, there's nothing wrong with her. But then you very quickly kind of come to realize there is so much wrong with her. Emma she's so fucking flawed. It's kind of hilarious. I actually read that Jane Austen was worried that no one was going to like her because she thought she was like so unlikable kind of at heart. And she kind of is. When you kind of strip away the fact that she's, you know, gorgeous and smart and funny and charming, she's got a lot of qualities that are like kind of off-putting. Like, she's snobby, she's ignorant, she's naive. I think she's kind of self-centered, even though she's trying to help other people all the time. She's doing it to satisfy something within her. She's not self-aware at all. She kind of uses people. Yeah, there's like a lot of things about her that are kind of negative qualities. So it was kind of cool to see like a heroine written so unflatteringly at times, especially with this kind of book. I think this book is like, again, the romance of it all. You'd think that the characters are either paragons of good or just the most evil, wicked people on earth. So, and Emma was kind of like this interesting person who's kind of in between. She's clearly a good person, but like, she's not this paragon of virtue, which was kind of cool. Like, if Mr. Knightley wasn't around to kind of criticize her every now and then and try to like ease her back towards the middle, she would have been like insufferable. Like, thank God he was in the book. But at the same time, I'd like to give her the credit because she's able to admit that she's wrong, and as someone in her kind of social position probably wouldn't have had to do that. So so kudos to Emma for kind of being self-aware after a while and actually fixing some things. A lesson we can all learn. Find something about yourself that people hate and fix it. That's your homework for this week. You don't have to do that, but you probably should do that. Ultimately, I think the book is showing someone who is struggling to grow, but kind of manages to find her footing and becomes like a little bit more than she was at the start. Someone she kind of didn't think that she was ever going to be. And in another way that kind of rings very true with today, the book is about a young, talented woman who's imperfect and is trying to like come to terms with a world less ready to bend to her will than she wants it to be. But in true kind of romantic fashion, ultimately the world doesn't let her down. Things do go well, which is, you know, sometimes it's nice to see. We're in an age now where everything is just so like the interesting ending to things is like the unhappy ending. Sometimes it's nice to just to have like a nice bow on something, and that's okay. You don't have everything, like everything doesn't need to be dark all the time. That's just a bummer. I don't know why people want to be unhappy at the end of books. That doesn't make you intelligent. That makes you a like cynical prick. Cut it out. I just like to see how happy this book makes people, even though some of it sounds just insane. Like the Mr. Knightley love. It's just I think it's so funny. Like I don't really get like book crushes. Not that I don't get them. Like I don't get them really, but I don't get how people get so kind of romantically entangled with fictitious people, especially when you can't see them. I kind of get it in movies because maybe you're just like attracted to a person, but in a book especially, like I know that's impressive that you can kind of create that person in your mind and get kind of attached to it, but I don't think I've ever had that feeling like one time in my whole life. And people fucking love Mr. Knightley. Like there's probably like a lot of gross throbbing fan fiction about this guy. I haven't looked for it, so maybe there isn't, but I'm just assuming there is. Some of the like, there's got to be like middle-aged women out there who just their marriages have ended because their husband isn't like Mr. Knightley. God, I hope that's true. It'd be so funny. But I think the most refreshing thing about the book for me was that, I mean, you know how things work now. Every kind of serious subject becomes so adversarial today. It was really refreshing to see somebody find the source of most of their woes in the mirror and have someone kind of learn about themselves and reflect and grow and decide like, I am lacking in these kind of ways and I have made these mistakes and I'm going to take some steps to change and to get better. And just everybody now just feels so ground into what they always have been and they just won't move. Everyone's just got their head in the sand. It's like the worst part of our culture right now. So it was nice to see somebody kind of confront their demons in Emma and actually make a few changes for the better. So I like that quite a bit. And that's pretty much all I have to say about Emma. I quite enjoyed it for what it was. It made me really happy that I was able to kind of sink into it and enjoy a Jane Austen novel, because I read a couple of them in university and I was like, as a 19-year-old guy, it wasn't my favorite thing in the world. So it's the first time I read Jane Austen like in earnest in probably 15 years. And I get it. Like I understand why she is who she is. I haven't picked my next top 125 book just yet, but I think it's going to be a long one. That's all I really know about it. So stay tuned and I will let you know a little bit more about that when I figure it out. So again, thanks for watching. I hope you got something out of this. If anything, just a little bit of a laugh. If you like Emma and I missed a whole bunch of stuff about why that book is great, let me know in the comments. You guys can kind of take the discussion from here because I'm kind of done with it. So yeah, hope you have a great rest of your week and we'll catch up soon. Thanks.